Hi guys, good day. Yan, we are still in our sixth topic which is all about the speaking situations. But this afternoon, we are about to tackle the third lesson under it, which is the public address. Okay? Yeah, so let's now start discussing. So as you may have noticed, your introduction to this lesson, the public speaking, has been a sequence process, right? We began first with the interview, which is a dyadic form, then progressing to a small group discussion in a variety of forms. Then now we are on the uh, third lesson, which is the public address topic. So from two-person communication, magsisimula na tayo ngayon sa speaker with a large audience. Okay? So guys, as the number of persons increases in a speech situation, meron ng pagkakaiba-ibang nangyayari doon sa manner ng kanilang pakikipag-interact. As in the case of public address. Kasi habang palaki ng palaki yung size ng group or ng audience, the speaker will have to talk louder and slower. Unlike kapag sa dyadic communication na katamtaman lang ang lakas ng boses kasi iisa lang naman yung dapat na makarinig doon sa sinasabi ni speaker. Okay? Then also, the seating arrangements, it has to be changed so that the speaker can be easily seen and heard. Kaya most of the time, kapag public address na ang speech, communication form, the speaker is in front of the big audience na, standing on the stage, on a podium, behind a lectern, speaking with a microphone and such. So, the communicative situation tends to become formal. Okay? What else? And also, the audience interests, it becomes varied na rin. Kaya ang tendency, the speaker's preparation becomes more thorough. And we all know that, and I know na naranasan nyo na rin yun during your SHS, your senior high school. So these variations, itong mga pagkakaiba-ibang manner of interaction, they take place in varying degrees depending doon sa purpose ng speech situation. Okay? But what we have to put in mind too is despite those variations, sa kabila ng mga pagkakaiba-iba na yun, each form of communication arises from the desire to give and receive messages. So we communicate in order for us to fulfill our desire or our needs in giving and receiving messages. Okay? So even though you are not yet done conducting a fact-finding interview, even though we are not yet undergoing an actual small group discussion, which is next week pas nakaschedule, I still assume na gets or na-perceive na ninyo yung concept at kahalagahan ng mga communicative situations na na-discuss natin last week. Okay? At pwede nyo namang balik-balikan yun, yung ating mga lectures doon sa YouTube channel ko, So, yung links ay nasa Google Classrooms na rin naman natin. Kaya anytime, you may refer to it as your reference din sa ating topics. Okay? Yeah, so, to formally start. In this lesson, you will learn to communicate with a larger audience and in a more formal structure. Okay, so from a one-on-one interview with a professional to a small group discussion with your classmates, you will now address your speaking skills or your ability in speaking with a larger audience in a more formal structure. Okay. So, with that in mind, i-retain lang ninyo yung inyong conversational attitude, and at the same time, make certain adjustments then as to the level and degree ng listener and speaker interaction. Okay? So, that is necessary, guys, because good public speaking, like good conversation, it requires animation doon sa pag-deliver at sa pagiging direct in giving ideas in order to make the process dynamic and interesting. Okay? Kasi I know na you will all agree naman na kung hindi maayos at hindi direct yung pag-deliver ni speaker ng kanyang speech or ng kanyang message, there would be a tendency na hindi aganahang makinig at mag-focus ang audience sa sabihin ni speaker. Okay? Kaya to learn the skills in public speaking or in public speech, be familiar with the principles of public speaking. So you have to participate in public speaking practices. At pwede nyo ring i-combine yung constant practice na yun with reading, with observation, or even with watching public speaking or public talks, katulad ng TED Talks. Okay? And also, you may criticize them as part of your evaluation sa pag-practice ng speaking engagements. Okay? So, it will help you to enhance your confidence and also your speaking capability. Kasi, do you agree that the only way to become good at anything is by repetition? Yung paulit-ulit mong ginagawa yung bagay na yun. So do you believe that in order for you to be good at farming, you have to practice and perform farm activities ng paulit-ulit? That's why when someone asked me to how to build effective communication skills and improve my public speaking, I just quote the words of a famous public speaker na ang sabi niya, the only way to learn to speak is to speak and speak and speak. Basta, speak lang daw ng speak. Meaning, you have to practice yourselves in speaking. You have to practice yourselves in expressing your thoughts in front of some people. You have to practice yourself speaking with a microphone at sanayin yung sarili mo na while you are speaking, all the eyes and ears of the listeners are on you. So, is it clear? Kasi hindi lang naman about speaking with confidence ang public address. It's also about overcoming yung ating stage fright, yung ating audience fright. Kaya later, sa latter part ng lecture na ito, tips will be given to you on how to overcome such frights. Okay?
I was appointed 6 months ago, and the more I've spoken about feminism, the more I have realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that this has to stop. For the record, feminism, by definition, is the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. It is the theory of the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes. I started questioning gender-based assumptions a long time ago. When I was 8, I was confused being called bossy, because I wanted to direct the plays that we would put on for our parents, but the boys were not. When at 14, I started to be sexualized by certain elements of the media. When at 15, my girlfriends started dropping out of their beloved sports teams because they didn't want to appear muscly. When at 18, my male friends were unable to express their feelings. I decided that I was a feminist, and this seemed uncomplicated to me. But my recent research has shown me that feminism has become an unpopular word. Women are choosing not to identify as feminist. Apparently, I am among the ranks of women whose expressions are seen as too strong, too aggressive, isolating, and anti-men, unattractive even. Why has the word become such an uncomfortable one? I am from Britain, and I think it is right that I am paid the same as my male counterparts. I think it is right that I should be able to make decisions about my own body. I think it is right that women be involved on my behalf in the policies and the decisions that will affect my life. I think it is right that socially I am afforded the same respect as men. But sadly, I can say that there is no one country in the world where all women can expect to receive these rights. No country in the world can yet say that they have achieved gender equality. Thank you very, very much.
Alright, so that's my favorite speech of Miss Emma Watson about gender equality. And it is a very good example of a powerful speech, right? Not only with the words she used, but also doon sa kung paano niya ina-utter or sinasalita yung mga salitang ginamit niya doon sa kung paano at saan niya nilagyan ng diin yung mga nasabi niya. So, talagang you'll get to feel and know kung ano talaga yung gusto niyang ipa-perceive sa kanyang audience about sa kanyang chosen topic. And so, in the video you've just watched, it is a type of speech that is an argumentative one. Kasi, di ba, we have three types of speech. The informative speech that aims to give information, the persuasive speech that aims to persuade or to convince the audience to agree with the speaker's point of view on a particular topic. And lastly, we also have the type of speech na argumentative. So that takes a stance on an issue and attempts to make the audience alter their viewpoints on a particular controversial issue. So that speech of Miss Emma Watson is an argumentative type of speech kasi she took a stance on the issue of gender equality. Then she expresses all her thoughts and her convictions to make the audience consider her message worthy of listening to, right? So now let's know naman what was the mode of her speech delivery by knowing these three modes of delivering a speech. Okay, so first we have the extemporaneous speech. So guys, this is a model of delivery where the speaker builds his or her compositions or speech prior to the actual presentation ng speech. Pero he or she creates his or her language doon pa lamang mismo sa time ng kanyang pag-deliver ng speech, doon sa actual time ng speech delivery. Ibig sabihin, kapag extemporaneous speech, once the speaker is already aware on what topic he or she has to convey in a speech, may oras pang ibibigay sa kanya to do some preparations. And in that preparation, it entails the making of outline. Then sometimes may pagkakataon pang sumulat or nasulat na talaga ni speaker yung buong speech, pero without memorizing it. Kundi real rehearsals or practices lang yung pwede niya magawa kasi limited lang din yung time na nabigay for the preparation. Okay? And yung final talk is made with the final outline na ginawa ni speaker as a guide. So, ibig sabihin, the final expression of ideas is left to the actual occasion because the speaker can still alter or pwede pa niyang baguhin yung details na kanyang prepare. Pwede pa niyang i-adjust yung prepared speech niya doon sa reactions ng kanyang audience. Like for example, if the audience looks puzzled kapag medyo naguguluhan yung audience doon sa mga na-express ni speaker, he or she can still explain an idea some more by restating it, by adding illustrations, or by explaining illustrations, or even by defining an ambiguous or magulong phrase. So that is the concept of extemporaneous speech. Second, we also have the impromptu speech. So this speech naman, on the other hand, is one given without previous preparation. So the speaker here is asked or prompted for some reason to talk on the very moment. Kaya when you are asked unexpectedly to say few words, which is yun na nga yung impromptu speech, you have to search for and think of ideas, not for words, like points of ideas na mag-support doon sa mga main points na yun. Okay? Hindi yung kapag tinawag ka to speak, ay ang a-search nyo or ang aisipin nyo agad ay yung mismong words na asabihin niyo. Ay pag ganun ang ginawa, may tendency na mabablanko kayo kapag ganun. Kasi ideas ang kailangan para magkaroon ka ng mga asabihing words, phrases, or sentences. Diba? So, in order for you to say something, you have to think of an idea muna. Okay? Now, for the third, we have speaking from a manuscript or from memory. Right, so this one naman is appropriate or required in cases where the speaker's words may reflect, say, doon sa official policy ng isang business or ng isang bansa, na yung bang information na as is na. Okay, so this mode of speech is precise in thought and in language kung properly presented siya. Pero pag hindi naman, if it is improperly presented, such speech is dull and uncommunicative at nakakatamad pakinggan yun pag ganun. Okay? Kaya that person, when he or she will deliver a manuscript speech, the speaker should be a speaker, not a reader. Even though may manuscript siya na with her or him, hindi niya dapat basahin yun. Kailangan ng panindigan na speaker siya and not a reader. Okay? Kaya in preparing the manuscript, you have to make it a speech, not an essay. Make it a communicative one. Yung parang nakikipag-usap ka rin lang doon sa audience mo. And then, practice your speech until you can look up frequently from the manuscript to your audience. And until you can orally present it in a meaningful manner. So again, practice and practice. So that's the three modes of delivering a speech. If you have question, you may raise your queries or your clarifications sa ating chat box. Okay, so now in order for you to effectively deliver a speech in whatever mode you want, you have to prepare for it first and foremost kasi I guarantee you na if you didn't prepare your speech, that speech communication form will not be effective and successful for sure. Why? Because a well-organized speech is simple and readily intelligible to the listeners. Kaya yung mga characteristics na yun, ang kailangan nating unang-una sa lahat na consider as you go about preparing your speech. And yeah, in order for you to familiarize yourselves on how to do that, here I will present to you the 6 basic steps on how to prepare a speech. And first, you have to know your audience first. Why? It is because as a speaker, you are responsible for bridging the gap between you and the listener. At walang magawang iba nun kundi ikaw. No? Whether you will be effective or not, it will partly depend upon the audience. Ano? So in preparing your speech, therefore, you must know in advance who your prospective listeners will be para you can make your speech interesting and beneficial to them. Kaya outlined here are the information which will be helpful in analyzing your audience. First, you may also find out specific details about the date and hour regarding your speech delivery. Okay, is there anything unusual about the time and date? Sa gabi ba yun mangyayari or sa tanghaling tapat? Ano, may time limit ba for your speech? Kasi baka hinabaan mo yung prepare mong speech tapos baka may time limit naman pala. Ano, ayan, take a chance also to know about the attendance. Kung how large is the audience, required bang umattend yung mga magiging audience mo, or will they just attend voluntarily? Okay? And for the place of meeting naman, will it happen outdoor or indoor? Like, what is the shape of the room or the auditorium? What is the seating arrangement? Meron bang speaker's platform para sa'yo? May lectern ka bang magagamit or table doon sa unahan? May props ba sa stage? Like, flag, Philippine flag. May map ba? May board ba na pwede mong paggamitan ng visual aids mo? Okay? So, yung mga ganun details. And when it comes to the type of meeting or program naman, you may know muna kung regular bang kinakonduct yun, yung program na yun, or is it occasional or special na para lang dun sa talk mo na yun. So, sino yung nag-sponsor doon sa program or doon sa meeting? Ano yung purpose niya kung bakit siya kinonduct? And what is likely to be the general atmosphere or yung magiging tone ng program para ma-adjust mo yung prepare mong speech. Formal ba siya or informal? Seryoso ba yun o katatawanan? Okay? And yeah, of course, before you give your speech, hanggat maaari, you must have an adequate information about the probable attitudes ng audience toward your topic. So, is the topic strongly or moderately favorable sa audience, or conflicting ba yung attitude na meron sila doon sa topic? Okay? Or neutral lang? Ganun. Informed ba sila or uninformed about sa topic? May mga background details ba sila about dun sa topic mo? Okay? So, interested ba sila doon o hindi? Para ma-adjust mo rin yung iyong prepare na topic. Okay? And also, lastly, you should also get the attitudes of the audience towards you. Hanggat maaari din, as a speaker and not personally naman. So, like, what is your personal reason for speaking? Kailangan mo ba siyang sabihin sa audience mo? Malalaman ba nila yung personal reasons mo na yun? Okay, so how many in the audience are personally acquainted sa iyo? Kilala ka ba ng mga magiging audience mo personally or hindi? Kailangan mo ring malaman beforehand yung mga bagay na yun. Para malalaman mo rin, will they be favorably inclined toward your personally, or will they be objective sa pagpakikinig sa iyo? So, sa tingin mo ba makakatulong yung iyong appearance or even your voice, your personality sa pakikinig ng audience mo sa'yo? Ayan. So, yung naka-outline na 6 na yan yung mga napakahalagang dapat na malaman mo beforehand na mga ideas na mga para doon sa mga do's and don'ts mo in preparing and also for delivering your speech na rin. Okay? At ito namang mga may check, yung mga dapat ninyong malaman beforehand din para ma-identify mo yung common traits and interests na meron ang iyong audience. Okay? Katulad ng age. So, yung audience mo ba ay puros children or are they all adults or young adults? Mga old people na ba or mixed? Okay? In terms of sex naman, is your audience all men or all women or equal? Okay. What else? As to the race naman, Filipinos ba lahat sila? Or may ethnic groups bang target audience? Or may mga half-half ba? Or may foreigners? Okay, so isang mahalagang malaman to, no? Kasi this may create a language problem naman on your end. So, the race. And for the family status naman, mahalaga rin siya kasi you have to know kung lahat ba sila ay single, lahat ba ay married or already parents, or kung may mga anak rin silang kasama, para maging careful ka rin sa mga words na asabihin mo. And as to their economic status, pwede mo ring malaman kung nasa middle class ba sila or yung magiging audience mo ba ay below average ang pamumuhay. And sa kanila namang educational status, nag-aaral pa ba sila? Or are they postgraduate students or may master's and doctoral degree or hindi sila nakapagtapos or literate sila? Okay. And sa community naman, are they residing in rural areas? Sa bayan ba sila nakatira? So, sa small city ba or sa big city? Sa tabing dagat ba? Kasi may mga words na unfamiliar sila. And may mga words din dapat tayong or appropriate nating gamitin sa mga ganong target na audience. And as to their occupation, pwede mo ring malaman na do they own big or small businesses? Are they professionals or are they retired professionals or mga housewives ba, house husbands, And also the religion, mahalaga rin siyang malaman mo beforehand. So do they actively attend church activities? Are they regular members ng isang religion? Catholics ba sila? Iglesia ni Cristo? Protestants? Christians? Ayan, so after considering those questions and after gathering the information, you may adapt na your speech material and presentation to the audience doon sa details or data na nakuha mo about your audience. At para magawa mo yun ng maayos, always put yourself in the listener's place and then find your common interest para ma-adjust mo yung topic mo to your audience para makagamit ka ng supporting materials that will be understood by them para ma-modify mo rin yung language na gamitin mo and at the same time para ma-adjust mo na rin yung iyong verbal and non-verbal delivery to them kasi I have mentioned na rin sa inyo last time na non-verbal cues must support yung inyong verbal cues, At we must be careful na rin sa ating non-verbal cues, sa ating mga gestures, facial expressions, kasi may iba't ibang meaning yun sa ibang tao. Okay? Yan, maliwanag po baga. Ayan, so after knowing or familiarizing yourselves with the details about your audience, it's time to choose and decide a final topic or your stand sa isang topic. But most of the time naman, when one is invited to speak, he or she is given a topic to talk about na Pero may mga times naman na there are cases when the speaker is given a general topic na, tapos siya na lang ang mag-decide ng kung ano yung pinaka-specific na topic na discuss niya. Pero may instances din naman na none at all, walang inabigay yung organizer or yung nag-conduct ng program doon sa speaker nang sabihin lang kay speaker ay ikaw na ang bahala kung ano yung gusto mong maging topic sa talk mo na magiging beneficial doon sa mga makikinig or sa audience kaya sa ganung case napasok itong choosing the topic stage choosing the topic stage. Okay, and your choice of topic should consider this four. Okay, first, choose a topic that would interest your audience. How will you do that? Yung checklist kanina, 'di ba? Yung age, sex, yung mga details about sa background ng audience, yun yung mga pwedeng maging sources for appropriate topics and for appropriate tactics para makuha mo kung paano sila magiging interested doon sa topic mo. Say for example, kung nalaman mo na ang mga listeners mo ay senior high school students or mga college students who are still considering whether they will pursue an advanced degree or not, then they would be interested in a topic about the needs or the advantages for a master's degree. Yung mga ganon. Kaya knowing your audience would be a very big help talaga. So, yan. And maaari namang may alam na yung magiging audience mo about sa subject matter na na-discuss mo, but they may still want to know more about it. Kaya you have to prepare your topic na kung saan ay magiging interesting pa rin yun para sa kanila. Okay. Yan. Second, consider also to choose a familiar topic para madali na sa'yo yung pagkalap ng information about sa topic na napili mo since familiar na siya sa'yo. Okay? And so this may include knowledge and experience with other people, your career and your work, or of others that you are familiar with. It also includes your reading and listening experiences, your leisure and hobbies, your memberships sa mga clubs or organizations, and even the current issues and problems that we have now in our society. So, pwede siya maging topic to consider. Yan. And third, consider also the occasion. Okay? So, as what I've said, it is so important to know when or where the speech will be given kasi ang isang audience meeting at a particular time and place has definite ideas and feelings about certain events. Kaya ang mangyayari, you would consider din yung theme ng occasion kung meron. Okay. And fourth, you will have to consider also the sustainability to the entire speech situation. Okay. So what you are going to do is to choose a topic that can be presented orally. Kasi may certain topics na that do not lend themselves to a successful oral presentations, such as yung topic na may complex process or yung may magulong process. Di magulo. Yung mahirap na process, yung masyadong technical, or even yung mas intimate na subjects. Kaya therefore, masasabi natin it would be a waste of time kung ganitong klaseng topics ang napili mong i-discuss kasi hindi ganun kadaling tanggapin or intindihin ng audience yung mga ganong klaseng topics. Okay? Kaya you have to select a topic na kayang i-discuss ng pasilita in a limited time. Okay? So, ayan. Even your experience in choosing and limiting your subjects for written exercises in English compositions, it can also aid or help you in narrowing down your subjects for public speech. And as a general rule, try to use at least 2 to 3 minute illustrations for a limited topic para mabigyan mo yung audience ng iisa or mas focus na impression doon sa topic mo. Okay po. Yan. Now, after making your topic specific enough, it is time to determine the purpose of your speech, which is the third stage in preparing a speech. Okay, so bakit kailangang i-determine ang purpose ng isang speech? Because ito yung magsuserve as your guide in communicating with your audience. So, katulad rin lang ng pagpili ng isang topic, the purpose is influenced by the audience, by the occasion, and also by the speaker's knowledge and experiences, at pati na rin sa suitable nito sa lahat ng mga dapat i-consider. Okay? Like, even if your purpose as speaker may be to inform, persuade, or entertain, you should be specific. At dapat ay audience-centered yung iyong purpose. Okay? Do not merely say na my speech is to inform my audience about planning, blah, blah, blah. Kasi pag ganun directly yung sinabi mo, that style is speaker-centered. Okay? Ayan, but instead your speech or the purpose of your speech should give your audience the opportunity to learn from what you say para masabing audience-centered siya. So let them find out your purpose as you develop your theme. So how will you do that? Again, you should build your speech or your presentation around their experience. So, kailangan mo ring i-adapt nga yung kanilang experiences para magkaroon ng real connection ikaw as the speaker at ng iyong audience. At pagagawa mo lang yun kapag may background knowledge ka tungkol sa iyong audience, na? Kaya sa yung first stage na yun na na-discuss natin, knowing the audience, ay napakahalaga talaga. And so again, your speech should be audience-centered at kasama yun sa dapat na i-determine mo as part of your purpose. Okay? So as to give the 3 speech purposes, we have the giving information through a speech, maybe in the form of lectures, reports, or demonstrations. So ang pinakang purpose ng speaker here is to tell the audience about something that na alam na nila, pero vague, masyadong vague, and still not known to them. Kaya ang focus nito ay yung mga informative talks is on facts, yung mga data and ideas, and it is also descriptive, explanatory, and diagnostic in nature. Well, a speech to persuade naman is designed to change the thinking or yung behavior ng audience. So meaning, it deals with propositions or stand tungkol sa isang bagay that are acceptable or unacceptable to the audience para hikayatin or i-convince mo sila na mapag-isipan yung proposition na yun or to do something actively na in favor doon sa kanilang stand. Okay? At yun ay in contrast sa nature ng informative speech. Kasi kung yung informative speech ay it presents facts and ideas as understood by the speaker, hindi siya nag-a-ask sa audience to accept the facts or ideas. Neither does it ask them to act on it. So parang ina-inform lang yung audience, hindi ina-convince ni speaker na paniwalaan siya. Okay? Like, for instance, an informative speech will only explain the way an association was organized, ano yung mga planned activities nito, and how it handles its fund. Samantala, ang persuasive speech naman, on the other hand, would convince non-members to join and encourage the members to actively participate in its activities. Kaya with that, we can say that a speech to inform is descriptive, while a speech to persuade naman is perspective and directive. Okay? And last, the speech to entertain naman is designed to interest or amuse the audience. So, alam nyo naman na to for sure. And as to the speaker, your goal is to let your audience enjoy and relax your speech. Okay? And fourth stage, the collecting of the supporting materials. Alright, so as you prepare the speech, successful speakers must study their subjects exhaustively before speaking about them kasi without specific ideas and facts about sa kanyang topic, a speaker has little or nothing to say then. Kaya having rich resources from which materials can be drawn when preparing a speech is so ideal. Yan. So, and these major sources of materials for a speech are this: conversations, investigations, and readings. So, saka mo na lamang siyang abak-apan ng personal observations on the matter to support your opinions. And so, these three supporting materials, makakatulong sila to explain and amplify your ideas sa iyong mga audience. It will also help you convince them that your arguments are logical and that your suggestions are for their best interest. Or it may help you add vitality and warmth doon sa comments na a-add mo doon sa speech mo. And also kapag meron kang na-present na mga materials on your audience, this will encourage your audience to pay attention and by that, ma-achieve mo pa yung goal mo because mas mabilis or mas madali nilang maiintindihan yung ideas mo if you will let them visualize your message. Okay? Halimbawa, when it comes to conversations as your source, so if you plan to speak on getting over depression, say for example, you may interview people who have helped depressed people treat such serious medical illness, or you may personally interview people who have overcome such illness, or even you, if you have undergone or if you experience such illness, you may strengthen your facts with your personal experiences using your testimony as a form of support. Okay? Sa investigations naman, as a source of your supporting materials, you can do that by observing procedures and practices para ma-determine mo personally what is being done and how it is being done. At syempre, it is accompanied by interviews in which actions are and the reactions are noted kasi andun ka na rin naman mismo sa situation. So why not use the opportunity to interview people. Okay? For example, when you plan to talk on getting over a depression nga, do not rely on your interviews. You may observe also the procedures din ng mga medical institutions that cater that kind of serious medical problem. Okay? And for the third kind naman ng supporting material, which is the reading of published data or library research. Yan, you must make your research systematic. Kasi knowing that this kind of source is abundant, kasi napakarami nating references, you have to start with selected bibliography. Then when you already have a list of the books relevant to your topic, you may read them critically na. So take down notes of facts, testimonies, illustrations, and such. Even quotations. Ayan. Do not just forget na i-quote mo yung statements ng iba. Cite them accurately. Okay? Yan. So, ito namang checklist yung mga examples of supporting materials that can be presented together with your speech. Yan, we have description, anecdote, narrative examples, brief stories with a point, illustrations, quotations, statistical data, audiovisual materials. Okay? And ayan, whatever materials you intend to use, what you need to do best is to determine yung importance ng idea and the effort required to support that idea. Kasi hindi naman magiging useful yung material na yun kung hindi mo alam kung paano siya at kung kailan siya dapat nagamitin as a supporting material. Okay? Now, for the fifth stage, while you are collecting support materials and creating ideas for your speech, it is also an opportunity for you to organize, interpret, and think through these facts doon sa mga nakuha mong ideas and materials. So, as you do this, i-evaluate mo yung materials na nagather mo according to their meaningfulness and yung kanilang usefulness to the speech you are preparing. And after that, i-organize mo na yung mga ideas for the preparation and presentation ng final outline base doon sa iyong specific purpose na na-determine on the third stage of preparing a speech. Okay? So, ma'am, ano po yung outline? Yan, ito, ganitong nasa side, So, this is a sample of a basic speech outline. And I have here the 4 basic principles when organizing ideas and preparing a final outline. Ayan. And so, let's discuss them para makagawa at makapag-prepare kayo ng maayos na speech outline. And first, you may revise or adapt your specific purpose. Yan. And you may do that right after collecting your materials kung kailangan. So, magagamit mo to as your guide as you begin to rearrange the items in your preliminary outline. Well, this is of importance rin naman talaga dahil constructing a specific purpose will allow you to clarify your thinking at para ma-sift out or ma-filter mo na rin yung mga pointless and irrelevant materials na nagather mo. Nang sa gayon ay makapag-focus ka na lang doon sa pertinent o doon sa mga mahalaga or magagamit mo talagang details. Okay? And then, second, you may divide the speech into main headings. Yan, kasi by doing so, it will ensure you logical and orderly development of the subjects, and it will enable you to distinguish clearly between important and less important ideas. Yan. So, paano siya gagawin? Well, you may arrange your materials according to a particular organization pattern para magkaroon kayo ng few main headings para kaunti na lamang at hindi sobra-sobra na yung iba ay irrelevant naman. Yan. At among sa common organization patterns na yon for arranging speeches are the time order or the chronological order, the space order, and the topical order. Yan. So, pag sinabing time order pattern, it presents events or processes in the sequence of time, okay, in which they took place or should take place. And ang space order pattern naman ay nag-describe siya sa ideas according to the physical relationships na meron yung mga tao, and even places or things. Okay? And lastly, topical order pattern is neither time-based or nor spatial. So, hindi siya doon sa dalawang naunang nabanggit. Ito naman ay open pattern, where ideas are classified into related forms and activities. So, nag-group siya sa themes relevant doon sa topic and sa subtopics. Okay? And so for the third principle, you have to organize the parts para yung mga essential ideas lang ang ma-include mo. Ano? But if you have covered too much, then you have to narrow it down. Kasi nothing can be boring than a speech that includes unnecessary ideas or too general. Ano? And lastly, group your facts into few main points. Yan. Para your audience can easily remember them. Ano yung mga sinabi mo. Pagka na-identify mo na yung kung anong organizational pattern ang gagamitin mo for your speech, you may begin to outline your ideas to give you a picture of the entire speech you are preparing and you are about to deliver. Okay? So that is how you should prepare a speech outline, a basic speech outline. No? Hindi yun dapat baliwalain dahil it is the blueprint. Siya yung framework ng iyong speech. So, naset down nito yung thought pattern in a plain view na makakatulong sa'yo to test the analysis at yung order of arrangement ng iyong mga main points. Kasi by that, makikita mo whether you have the right kind and the right numbers of supporting materials. So, masaspot mo rin kung alin yung weak and unnecessary points sa iyong speech. Right? So, that's how important a speech outline is. Okay, and of course, writing the speech will become simple and easy if your outline is adequate. Kung sakto siya, kung enough siya, kung tama siya, If you already have a detailed outline as your guide, then your speech is almost developed na rin dahil madali ng pag-connect-connectahin yung isang main point to the other, no? So it will prevent you from going off tangent, ayun. Asan na? Okay. Yan. Now, at this point of your preparation, which is the last stage the sixth stage, try to think of a fresh approach in a different way of saying your ideas or expressing your ideas. Wag na tayo doon sa mga cliche speeches. I-avoid na natin gumamit ng mga overused phrases and yung masyado ng gamit na audience engagement tactics. At baka, pag ganun ay, baka mabaduyan na yung ating audience, At, ayun. Kaya you should write first draft muna ng iyong speech base dun sa iyong speech outline, then revise, and then rewrite para ma-improve mo yung speech mo before it appears in a final form. Yan. So, ano yung mga dapat na maging parts ng isang speech? Of course, we have 3 parts here. First, the introduction. Kasi you have to be mindful of this part. Because the opening words of a speech are often the most important. Dahil it will have a psychological effect sa audience. Like for example, if you get the interest of the audience at the beginning, then it will be easier for them to understand your speech. Kaya you have to set the climate lively and getter doon pa lang sa introductory part ng speech mo. And also, the average length or the average ang tamang haba for an introduction should be approximately 10% of your entire speech. Okay? At yung sa end part naman ng speech mo, dapat ay gagamit ka ng effective transition papunta doon sa body ng iyong speech para smooth lang yung transition from introduction to the body. And next, the next part would be the body. And so here it contains the ideas about your topic. Okay? So since may outline ka na, and it is already in sentence form, your concern na lang is how to connect the ideas into a unified whole para maging isang speech na siya. So remember that your listeners cannot see your outline with the points all na naka-label and naka-indent yung kita yung spacing and the outlining hindi na nakikita yon. They cannot even pause to think about the relationship involved about doon sa mga ideas na yon. Kundi they are thinking through your speech doon sa mga inasabi mo for the first and only time. Kaya your transition sentences should be well thought out effectively at sobrang ayos dapat. So, ano yung mga dapat gawin para maging smooth yung transitions? So, you have to, or dapat mong alamin yung mga transitional words or phrases, at kailangan mo ring alamin kung paano sila gamitin appropriately. So, we have rhetorical questions na pwedeng gamitin, mayroong mga phrases, like with that in mind. Meron din namang words like however, unfortunately, yan. So, those are some examples of transitional words or phrases. And last is the conclusion of the speech. Okay, so it brings the entire speech to focus on the central idea ng buong speech mo. So all that you have said, the main points, the subordinate points, and the supporting materials should be pulled together dito sa iyong conclusion para mabigay mo yung final impact doon sa proposition mo sa iyong speech. And also to make a lasting impression, syempre, sa iyong audience. Okay? So, kung yung introduction ay 10%, ito naman ay approximately 5% of the entire speech lang. So, yes, it must be shorter than the body and the introduction. Okay, so that's how you prepare your speech efficiently. I hope you will all follow those stages as you do and prepare your speech. Yan, and apply the strategies and tips na na-discuss ko sa inyo. And ngayon naman, as you already prepared your speech, you will eventually present your speech. Kaya let's now tackle these matters regarding the do's and don'ts in presenting a speech. And so you have probably observed na how speakers on different occasions present or deliver their speech. Yung iba ay they speak to themselves. Yung iba ay nakausap lang yung sarili nila. Yung iba naman ay merong irritating manner or mannerisms. Yung iba naman ay, kung ating natin, ay parang hindi siya authoritative. So yung mga ganong actions and looks, nakaka-distract siya sa audience. So, meron din namang iba na they spend more time preparing the the verbal aspects of the speech. So, mas napagtuunan nila ng pansin yung what they will say. So, and they often neglect the non-verbal aspects or yung how they will present the speech. But as what I have been reiterating sa inyo sa ating mga nagiging lessons, successful speakers combine the verbal and non-verbal elements when giving a speech because they communicate not only with their words but also with their body to reflect not only with their ideas and para mag-serve na rin yun doon sa needs of the communication. Okay? Kaya in that manner, a speaker experiences a sense of communication with his or her audience, giving him or her a time to concentrate on the speaker's ideas during the speech. Okay? So now in order for me to give you tips on how to effectively present your speech, let us talk about how to cultivate a sense of communication and how to control stage fright. And let's talk about the first one muna. And so in public speaking, an effective speaker feels that the audience and him or herself are mentally engaged na in a mutual action and reaction. So to cultivate this sense of communication, the speaker should be sincere. And as a speaker, you must talk to and with the audience and not at them. What I mean is, you must magnify and intensify your whole tone and manner in order to reach all your listeners and even those in the back row. You have to make them see the subject and you have to make them feel about it as you do. And that sincerity should be accompanied by directness. Kasi if you are sincere and direct, mas makukuha ka or mas makakakuha ka ng positive reactions from your audience. So again, how will you do that? First, we have here increasing communicative effectiveness. Alright. So guys, again, communicative effectiveness can be increased by means of appearance and yung ating body actions. Kaya, say for example, when somebody says, you are beautiful, you are beautiful, you're so beautiful, pero nag-sneer siya or nag-express siya ng nakakalokong ngiti, will you believe that person na nasabihan ka maganda ka, pero may kasabay na nakakalokong ngiti? O kaya naman ay pag ang topic ng isang speaker is about good grooming or how about yung maayos sa pananamit, pero ang way naman yun ng kanilang pananamit ay so sloppy, yung bang too casual siyang manamit and parang hindi siya maayos pumorma. So do you think the speaker will sound convincing? No, right? So do you think the speaker will be effective sa pag-deliver ng kanyang speech kung ganun yung kanyang verbal cues and non-verbal cues na nag-contradict? Diba hindi? Kaya what you have to put in mind is your bodily action and your appearance are not mere decorations of speech, kundi they are integral parts of the communication process. So ang mga nakapaloob dito ay yung clothes and personal appearance ni speaker and also yung kanyang posture and poise. Kaya in order for you to be a confident speaker, you should look natural and not tense. You should also appropriately wear clothes in harmony occasion. Okay? So your looks have to be neat and as well as your poise and posture. Right? So second, in order for you to cultivate a sense of communication, you also have to use appropriate gestures and body language. So paulit-ulit tayo dito. I know that you are aware that we people, we are normally animated. Animated in a sense na we talk with our bodies and hands. And we do the same in public speaking. Pero sa ganong communicative situation, sa public speaking, gestures and body language should be toned spontaneously with proper timing para makadagdag siya ng emphasis doon sa speech na ina-deliver mo. Kasi each gesture must be purposeful. So may meaning ang bawat galaw natin. At yun ay nape-perceive ng ating audience. Kaya what we must do is avoid unnecessary actions or gestures. Okay? Ayan, yung ating pag-point ng finger, yung ating pag-extend ng hand from side to side, yung ating pag-describe or pag-imitate sa isang bagay, yung ating pagtango or yung pag-iling natin, what else? Yung pag-emphasize sa mga nasabi natin by doing giggle gestures, yung mga ganon. At syempre pala yung ating facial expression, we have to be mindful sa kung anong napakita natin or napresent nating movement sa ating audience. Okay? And lastly, we also have the audiovisual aids, the AVP, the audiovisual presentations. So ito naman ay kadalasan ay hindi available doon sa venue kung saan magaganap yung pag-deliver ng speech, no? Doon sa place kung saan talk si speaker. Pero minsan naman, if the occasion is mainly for presentation of speeches talaga, merong facility or merong gamit na na-provide for the audiovisual aids. Yan, kaya sinama ko na rin dito. Yan, so this audiovisual aids, this may help you naman in cultivating a sense of communication, kasi kapag meron kang nape-present na ganitong aid sa audience mo, na-clarify mo sila sa kanila yung iyong idea at na-attract mo silang makinig at makuha yung kanilang attention. Okay? And so, kung kagaya lang ng mismong speech, this requires planning and practice also para alam mo kung kailan i-introduce yung material mo, how to handle them, how long to display them, kung kailan sila alabas, and how to dispose them. Okay? And so those are the 3 things that would help you cultivating a sense of communication. Now, dito na tayo sa last one na kailangan din nating i-address in presenting our speech, the controlling of stage fright. Okay, so una, ano ba ang stage fright? Ayan, stage fright is an emotion. And oftentimes, ito yung fear natin kapag naharap na tayo sa audience. Na nararamdaman natin from the difficulty in coping with the situation we are in. And in its severe form, stage fright can make our mind go blank. And that is the first problem that besets a speaker or a performer. Kaya may natawag tayong mental block. So that particular feeling, nanggagaling siya doon sa pakiramdam natin na pagiging inadequate to meet a situation, from fear of not living up to the expectations ng audience, fear na baka malimutan natin yung mga prepare or yung mga paghahanda natin, or even our fear of failure. Okay, and you know what? The problem of stage fright besets not only the inexperienced speaker, but also kahit yung mga sanay na at kahit yung mga marami ng experience speaking in front of a large audience. Okay? At alam nyo naman na yung feeling, kaya hindi ko naapaliwanag further yung pakiramdam. So, maaaring lahat kayo ay naka-experience ng ganito. Yung even magsalita ka lang in front of your classmates and your teachers, diba? So, you may still feel that stage fright. Kahit ganun kaliit yung iyong audience. Okay. However, psychologists have found out that those feelings, the feels na nararamdaman natin kapag may stage fright tayo, such physiological changes can increase our adequacy as a speaker if they are controlled and directed. Kaya, a reasonable amount of stage fright can make us better speakers. Kaya, ang problema natin ngayon, kung nakaramdam tayo ng stage fright, ay hindi yung kung paano natin siya ma-overcome, hindi yung kung paano siya mawala, but how to reduce and control it. Kasi, as I said, normal lang talagang kabahan or magkaroon ng stage fright when you're in front of an audience. And what shall we do in order to make that happen, to reduce and control our stage fright? Well, days before your speech, do the 6 steps we discussed in preparing a speech. Kasi, again, a well-organized and well-prepared speech is simple and readily intelligible to the audience or to the listeners na. And it will probably give you so much confidence that you also are ready na to deliver your speech effectively to your audience. But you just have to do after you prepare your speech is practice. Practice aloud, either you're alone or with someone else as your audience. Then, on the day of your speech naman, chatting with others can help you keep your mind off the speech to make you feel relaxed. Tas mawa-warm up pa yung conversing skills mo. No? But when the program begins, dapat ay mag-concentrate ka na on the proceedings or doon sa program. Instead of naisip mo yung iyong speech, listen to the speakers before you. So this prevents building up undue tension at para you may use it then as part of your introduction. No? And when your turn comes, pag you are about to deliver your speech na, breathe slowly and regularly. So you have to calm your whole body. Then walk to the platform confidently at kahit anong nafe-feel mo, walk with poise and confidence. And once you got on the platform, you may pause before starting and take a comfortable stance. Then breathe deeply until your breathing is easy. Then look directly at even one or two persons from the audience na parang friends mo sila or kakilala mo sila. Then smile at them and greet the audience the whole audience. When they are looking at you and they are ready to hear your first words. And keep that confidence all the time. And always remember the things we discussed dito sa kung paano makakultivate yung sense of communication with the audience. So, yun yung kailangan nating i-apply when we are to present or deliver our speech. Okay, so that's it. That's all basically you need to know about our lesson 3, the public address. And in order for you to practice your skills, you are to deliver your own speech, memorized speech or reading from manuscript speech, pero hindi reading You have to memorize your speech. That is, it is intended to be viewed and heard by a large audience. So, paano mangyayari yun? Ay, wala namang face-to-face. So, you will upload or post your recorded speech video on each of your Facebook account. Wherein you will set the privacy of that particular post into public. So, hindi siya naka-only me, hindi siya naka-friends only, at lalong hindi siya naka-custom lang na sa akin lamang. Dapat ay public para viewable siya sa large audience. At para kahit hindi pa tayo face-to-face, ay makaka-experience pa rin kayo ng public speaking with a large audience virtually nga lang. And so, mention or tag nyo na lang ako doon sa comment section para madali kong makita yung inyong output. Yan. And as to the topic, I have given you here a general topic which is Philippine agriculture. So, you are free to choose the specific topic you are to discuss in your speech. Just always remember that there is a limited scope in selecting a relevant and interesting one. And we discussed naman what to consider in selecting a topic, right? Kaya dapat nyong sundin yung mga steps na yan. And so, the maximum length of your video speech is 5 minutes. You should compose and frame your video into medium shot from head to waist. So, that is yung ganitong frame and composition ng video ay it will be useful when you convey information dahil ina-allow yung audience na makita ka from your head to your waist. So, makikita ka nilang you are interacting with the environment kasi with a medium shot, the setting has more emphasis doon sa subject which is ikaw, the speaker. Right? Note guys that you can interact with the audience through the comment section as if they are sitting or standing in front of you as you deliver your speech. Kaya you should engage or convince your audience or your FB friends to raise their comments, even their questions and ideas na gusto nilang i-share na as soon as you end your speech. Okay? And again, composing your written speech. Remember these steps in preparing your speech. First, know all necessary information about your audience. Second, you have to consider a topic that would interest your audience. And third, you should determine the purpose of your speech. Fourth, you may collect supporting materials. Fifth, you must follow the steps we discussed in making a speech outline. And lastly, write your overall speech in accordance to its complete parts, doon sa tatlong parts. Okay? And finally, apply the strategies that I have mentioned when delivering a memorized speech. Keep practicing and practicing until you'd get comfortable delivering your speech na. And ayan, mark your notes na it's deadline, the deadline I've set here for posting or uploading your video is on May 31, 2022. So it's Tuesday until 11:59 only. Pag lumampas na naman ay awan. Okay, so is that clear? So I hope you were able to understand my instructions dito sa inyong activity, and I also hope na you understand the concept of public speaking, its nature, how to do public speaking and when to do public speaking. So if you have any questions or clarifications, you may raise it in our synchronous class right after you watch this. Okay, thank you for listening, everyone. Goodbye.